Last episode, we started our deep dive on the mysteries of the undead. Today, we will continue that journey, further exploring the beginnings of the mythology about vampires. We'll look at how people misinterpreted decomposition and improper burials, turning it into folklore that has lasted centuries. Join Sophia, Cassidy, and I as we continue our discussion. So hop into our morbid time machine and let's dig up the rest of these spooky secrets.
Welcome inquirers, old and new, to our grim past. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Maya. Join us as we delve into the weird, random, and all-around strange events that have happened in history.
Together, we will spiral down a rabbit hole of time
and venture out towards a better understanding of our world.
From shipwrecks and spooky places to morally questionable people and practices.
Hop into our morbid time machine,
and
let's get into it.
Hi, Maya.
Hi, Sophia.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Welcome back, Cassidy.
Yay.
Hi, guys.
We're definitely pretending that we didn't record this on the same exact day, right after.
If you guys are real ones and been listening since the beginning, you know that we do this a lot.
Yes.
Hello.
But this one kind of just happened. Like we said last time, we had more content than we anticipated, and we're running over time.
You know us, we're yappers.
We are yappers.
Got locked in, though. Okay. Where did we end?
Rabies?
Rabies?
But I feel like we just, touched the tip of the iceberg on rabies.
We could talk forever about rabies.
Yeah. Talk about your werewolf theory.
Oh, that rabies is connected to werewolves? Okay, so, you also, Cassie also has this theory.
Yeah.
She asked the professor about it.
I asked him, and he goes, yep, def rabies. Thanks,
dude. Girl, if you guys have heard our Mercy Brown episode too, she was basically a woman who they thought she was a witch and a vampire, like an undead, and she had tuberculosis. She died from that. Then her brother got it, so they thought she gave it to him. So they exhumed her body and then took out her heart and her liver and something else, and they burned it, and then they cooked the ash.
No, they mixed it with water.
They mixed it with water and fed it to her brother,
who was also suffering from tuberculosis
because they thought it would cure him, and he died 2 months later.
Yeah.
But that's a really big case of it. And so I asked him about it, and I was like, did you encounter Mercy Brown? And he was like, a little bit, and then didn't say anything else. I was like, grr.
I think he wanted us out of there, if I'm being so
Yeah, he ended it 45 minutes early. But shout out.
It was still fun. It was
so
still
good.
very fun.
It was
Still
really fun.
very informative.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, one thing we didn't talk about last time, which I found really funny, was the Mongol catapult.
Yes.
So this happened was it tuberculosis or was it?
No, I'm pretty sure this was Black Plague.
This is Black Plague? Okay.
Plague,
yeah.
So basically, you guys probably all know Mongols took over everything. Anyway, so what was the other country?
It was Italy.
Yeah,
it was Italy. So there was a bunch of victims that were dead, right? And so what the Mongols did is they created human catapults, and they would fling literally the dead bodies just over a wall at the Italians.
And so, the Italian,
Mm-hmm.
Biological warfare.
Yeah, is what he called it.
Yeah, the first instance of biological warfare. Maya drew an amazing picture of it. We might have to post it because it is gorgeous.
I also drew a rat with a flea.
With the flea, which is also really good. I love Maya's little drawings when we do these.
It happens. I think, and I have a cross.
Oh yeah, you did draw a cross.
There.
Okay, but that was the whole holy.
Yeah.
His vampires don't like the holy. Yeah.
Which is because of blood.
Yeah.
Because blood is holy. Which, as you guys,
Religion
you know what
major.
the blood libel is. Yeah, religion major. So blood is a really important part of Judaism and then later Christianity. And so instead of taking it as a holy way like bloodletting was, they were taking it because they were hungry and they were eating it. So it was this is against God. Vampires are sinning. And so what they would do is they'd have a stake from an ash tree and put it through their heart into the ground when they were in the ground, quote unquote sleeping during the day, because the undead were awake at night, right? Because then they couldn't get up. Because if they're staked in the ground, they can't get up. Or they could put a hawthorn branch through their tongue so they can't bite people.
It was like a thorn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then it'd just be there's something on my tongue. Which, like, if you've ever burnt your tongue, I'm assuming it's, like, a similar feeling. Like, it sucks.
If something stabbed through your tongue.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I feel like people with tongue piercings would know.
But at the same time, I think, like, if an actual, like, vampire wanted to suck some blood,
Why wouldn't they just
they're-
rip it out?
They're just gonna take that thing out.
Oh my god, speaking of which, there's a whole thing. So you guys know Sesame Street, right? So
I was hoping
there's the
we'd get
Count
into
in
this.
Sesame Street. That's a vampire.
Count
and it's
von
because
Count.
vampires had, I don't remember what it,
Arithmetic, like,
Yeah.
like
a
very,
They liked to
arithmetia?
count.
Yeah, they like
arithmetia or
had
whatever.
a need to count. So if you had like seeds or beans or whatever and you threw them at a vampire, they had to stop and count all of them until the sun came up and they got burned alive by the sun. Like, what? Like, life hack of the sentence. Like, if you're getting chased by a vampire, use this hack. Take a handful of seeds and throw it at them. Bro, what?
Okay,
that work?
I also, like, really appreciated that during the lecture, like, he did have just, like, the professor had a pot full of seeds or
Yes,
something,
it
and he
was-
just
it
picked
was
it up
seeds.
and then chucked
I
it.
think there were
Chucked it.
sunflower seeds. He also had a hawthorn branch and a wooden stake.
Yeah.
He carved specifically for this speech. He said, "Hopefully, you guys like my carving abilities." And I was like,
Like,
"What?"
I loved it. It was great. But just, like, picked it up. But no, then Sesame Street needed someone to help count,
Yeah.
and they decided vampire, so Count von Count.
Wild.
I know. Crazy.
yeah. Okay. Sorry, I wrote down a note that I don't know why I didn't put on a separate page, but can we go back to the miasmas?
Oh, yeah, go for it.
So, it's all like, ooh, spooky, scary. We don't know what's happening, so we're gonna avoid places that look like that, like swamps. You know what lives in swamps? Witches.
I thought about that actually. I thought you could
Mhm.
easily like connect these to so many different things.
Yeah, like because the witch craze is also happening at a
Mhm.
very
Yes.
similar time.
Yes.
Like Mercy Brown was thought to be a witch and a vampire
Mm-hmm.
because like if you kill, like that's one of the reasons I think they had to kill witches so they didn't like come back and haunt you, right? As spirits or
I
like
just think it was
hang
more
them,
like the vexes. They thought that like
Mhm.
witches were literally just
like gonna hex them.
yeah, just gonna
Mhm.
wreck their lives. And
Yeah.
that's why they didn't. Like they had to kill him.
Yeah.
It's also just a woman with opinions. So
Yeah.
let's kill her.
Yeah.
I think
Sometimes they didn't even have opinions. Sometimes
No.
they literally were just living.
Yeah.
kind of going back to like the ash thing or like the stake in the heart, that's also why like a lot of times in like Scandinavia and like Eastern Europe you will see like people being buried with like scythes over their necks.
Yes,
So then if they tried to wake up they would just decapitate themselves and then problem solved. No more vampires.
Do you guys know one of my favorite fun facts?
What's it, one of your favorite
Do you know why
facts?
it's called awake?
Why?
When you visit someone, because back in the day people would just get like really drunk and the next morning people would try to wake them up and they wouldn't because they were so hungover they were sleeping really hard, so they would have a whole like ceremony to let them go, and it was like a few day period for the person to wake up.
Wow.
That's insane.
Yeah, or like if they're just like sick they were like maybe they're not actually dead, like so people would just like wake up in the middle of their wake.
Well, okay, that also kind of brings out like the whole like people being buried when they weren't when they weren't dead thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
That also brings up like all of the other things that they did. So, you ever heard of the term like the graveyard shift?
Yeah.
So, that was when there was literally like a graveyard guard who would go around the graveyard at night and just make sure that if someone was alive and like banging on their coffin, they could get out.
People would also connect like bells
Yes.
to the end of feet. Like you
yeah.
put them on their toes because, oh, this person is actually alive. Like you can hear a bell ringing.
Yeah.
But also dead bodies twitch and
Yes.
move.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's something actually I think in France they still do it some places.
Just to like protect. Now in France, it's more
Yeah.
like a we're gonna protect you from these bad omens. Like it's more of like a, tradition type thing.
But no, another thing that like people would do is they would like rip off toenails or like stick a like or fingernails or like stick a pin between toes to like make sure the person was actually dead,
Mm-hmm.
because otherwise like if you were alive you'd be like, oh, that hurt.
Mm-hmm. They would especially do that when they were taking bodies for medical examinations, like medical use.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, can I talk about Jekyll and Hyde?
Go for it.
Okay. So, if you guys know the story of Jekyll and Hyde, that's amazing, and I'm very happy you've read it. If not, it's a story about a man named Dr. Jekyll and this guy named Hyde. Howard, maybe? Anyway, so Dr. Jekyll is, like, pretty much described as, like, a skinny little, like, sickly man, and he decides to separate his quote-unquote good and evil sides. So, his good side is Jekyll, and his evil side is Hyde, but he turns into like Liddy, a different person. Like his body changes, his like whole like demeanor changes. He has a separate house for Hyde, everything. It's like really spooky. And Hyde goes around, and I'm pretty sure it's from the point of view of someone else that Dr. Jekyll interacts with. And he also meets Hyde and like goes to his house and everything. Hyde like kills people in the middle of the night. And Dr. Jekyll tells, like, the main character, like, oh, like, don't go in this room at night, stuff like that. And he goes in, and it's, like, Jekyll turning into Hyde, and, like, his servants are dying, all this stuff. And it's just, like, crazy, and it's goofy. And so I just, like, relate it to this, because I think it's kind of the same thing.
Well, and then there was also an element of, like, grave robbing,
Oh,
too, in that story.
Yeah, because Dr. Jekyll is a doctor. And so back in the day, there wasn't a lot of bodies that were given to science.
Our real ones who've listened since the beginning will know. Grave robbing episode, our first ever episode.
Iowa case. And so, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, what people would do is that, like, why am I saying doctor students? Medical students. Would grave rob. Like, they would go and they would dig up a fresh grave, which is another one of the reasons that there were graveyard shifts. Like, people, if you listen to our other episodes, people would have, like, contraptions that they put on top of their graves for the first, like, few weeks that would, like, catch people or, like, cut their feet off and stuff like that. Yeah. So that they couldn't get robbed.
And
like,
you could, like, rent them out. So it's
yeah.
like, oh, yeah, no, you know the guy who did our grave protection for Aunt Susan's funeral?
Yeah.
We're going to do it for Mom's, too.
Or, like, you can borrow them from, like, your friends and stuff. Like, there'd be, like, different types of grates or, like, literal, like, knives you would just, like, stick up from the ground. Stuff like that. So then when, like, people try to, like, dig a body up, they can't because it was, like, literally so common.
Yeah. Super interesting.
Mm-hmm. So, it's a fun thing.
I feel like we should talk about why vampires were often, like, seen as, like, a super sexual creature. I think that was
Oh
insane.
my gosh, that
His
was
take
insane.
on that was wild.
Can we talk about that?
Go for it.
Do you want to start?
Can I talk about
Yeah.
it?
Go for it.
So, like, his biggest take on, like, why vampires are seen as such, like, a sexual creature is because normally when you would dig up a male body after rigor mortis set in, everything is expanded. That includes all of the parts, I guess you could say.
The family jewels.
So, you know, they would be erect because rigor mortis is set in, your body is everywhere. So people would be like, oh my God, like, it has to be a vampire and they must have, like, just this most insane sexual drive because what?
Yeah.
Well, not only were they erect, weren't they also, like, way enlarged?
Yeah,
Yes,
because like,
everything was so, like,
Bloated.
and
pretty
then
much.
it also connects to Bram Stoker's, right?
Yeah, he
Because-
really romanticized Dracula.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
it's made him like ooh, fancy.
He's dark haired, like,
he's so
tall.
Tall, dark, and
hot.
handsome.
Girls want him.
Which like goes into like the like they can like control people and stuff. It's interesting.
I just, like, was not expecting that. I'm gonna be honest. Like, he clicked the slide and that showed up, and I was like, oh, what?
Yeah, like let's just say the slides were pretty graphic.
They were very graphic.
Honestly, though,
but it's to be expected.
to be expected.
Yeah.
He did give us a trigger warning at the beginning. I appreciated that. With the cute cat on that slide, which was really funny.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, the, like, TV warning.
Like the
beneath
rated
it.
R. Like,
Yeah, no. The slideshow was cracking me up.
It was really funny.
he had, like, this really funny, I don't even remember the, like, actual line, but it was something like, what is a vampire or something? And the answer was, like, he's a neck romancer. And I was like, that
Yeah.
is so funny. Like, he just had
He
these
was just
little-
It was
cracking
like, why do
jokes the whole
girls
time.
like vampires? 'Cause he's a
neck romancer.
but like NECK space romancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
Biting their
he's-
neck.
he makes it funny. Like, he
Yeah.
makes such, like, a dark, serious topic, like, really funny, in my opinion.
That is, like, honestly such a, like, social work way to go about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I appreciate that. Like, dark humor.
Love it. Yeah.
Love me some good dark humor. Appropriate. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
He also talked a bit about zombies
Yes.
and voodoo, which, like, zombies are different than the undead because, as we talked about before, the undead have, like, an agenda or, like, they, like, retain their memories to an extent or things like that, right? But zombies don't. They're literally just, like, a reanimated corpse. And, like, that is from, like, stories about voodoo. which I
Yeah,
think is cool.
specifically the slave trades in Haiti.
Because, like, it's part of, like, what's it, like, the never-ending servitude.
Yeah.
Yes.
Basically, which connects to the curse of Ham, in theory.
What?
The one where in the Bible where it's like
He did the exact same thing.
like they damn the descendants of one of them of Ham, like eternal servitude, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But it's how did that actually reach Africa when it started somewhere way different? We never know.
Yeah.
People
You'll
interpret
never know.
people interpret things
Guess
really
we'll never
weird.
know. The one thing I keep seeing on this page, and I cannot remember why I wrote this down.
I don't either. You said
This
you would
one?
tell. Yes. Is this what you're pointing at?
Yes.
Because you said you would tell me later.
Okay. So, I can't remember why I wrote it down, but
Oh,
I
she
would tell
wrote down, I dream about dead people, ... I get it from my mom. And I go, what? And she gives me no context.
Okay, so here's the context. So my mom and I have this thing where, like...
We talked about this in the dining hall, did we not?
Oh, yes, we did.
did.
Yes.
Me and you and Lily.
Yeah, you just weren't there, Maya.
You had to go to work.
Yeah. Okay, so...
When?
It was
Like when we first met.
When we first met.
Yeah.
Like the first time I ever met Sophia, we talked about this. I was like, wow.
Okay, so...
Remember?
Like, my first vivid memory of this was, like, right after my grandpa died, my mom's dad. And she woke up and my mom did, and she was like, I just had the most, like, bittersweet dream. And she had a dream about, like, we have this family cabin in Canada where that was my papa's happy place, and we spent a lot of time up there. We still do. And she, like, had a dream and was talking to him there. And I was like, growing up, I was like, oh, that's, like, really sweet. Like, you can still, like, kind of talk to him,
Like have a connection.
sure.
even though, like, he's passed away. My senior year of high school, we used to have this cabin in Iowa, and we were selling it, which was also his cabin. I had a dream. I was in that cabin, so was he, and we just had a conversation, and I got a hug. And it was, like, the most, like... Because I was having some feelings about selling the cabin. Because I was like, oh, there's a lot of memories, and I don't want to, like...
You don't want to lose those.
I don't want to
yeah.
forget those and, like,
Yeah.
forget about him and whatnot. And that was, like, it's okay. It'll be okay. And, like, every so often, like, every few months, I'll have those dreams where it's just, like, we chit-chat, have a time. But it's, like, it feels so real.
Yeah.
So, and I told my mom about that. And she was like, oh, yeah, you get that from me. Well, last December, my dad's dad passed away. And this was really weird. Like, right around the time that he passed away, it was like 2 or 3 in the morning. I just sit bolt upright, like out of a dead sleep, and I'm like, oh, I don't feel good. And then it passes, and I go right back to sleep. Next morning at like 7 a.m., my dad calls me and was like, hey, Grandpa passed away this morning. And I was like, what time? The time when I sat bolt upright and was like, ooh, I don't feel good. It is so weird. Coincidence? Maybe. But no, just really
I
weird.
also feel like people just, like, I don't know if it's weird of me to, like, feel this way, but, like, I feel like people just have, like, those weird connections like that. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's, like, a real thing.
Yeah.
Like,
I
I
Well,
think
and
it makes
then-
sense the universe
Yes,
in a way.
I feel like you can.
Yeah, and then right after his funeral, his memorial service, I went to bed and had a dream about him, and we were playing cards. And I was telling my dad about it, and he was like, that was, like, his favorite game. I never played that with him.
Yeah.
Like, we never talked about it. It was just, oh, no, he loved playing that card game. And I was like, what the heck? So it's just, like, weird stuff like that where it's like I have no way of knowing X, Y, and Z, but it just happens. And so, yeah, that's the context of that quote. And I can't even remember what.
He said something about how, like, people during this time period, because there was so much sickness, like, people got really, like, delirious because they were never sleeping and they were always, like, worried that people would have, like, dreams like this, and they would, like, wake up and their dead wife was walking in the bed in front of them. Their, like, child was playing still, but they're long gone.
Yeah.
He said that that's something that also really caused, like, oh my gosh, it has to be like an undead person. Like, I saw them right there before my eyes. Like, they were at the bottom of my bed. Like, that had to be real, which I feel like is just, at the time, that was definitely your mind, like, telling them, like, oh my gosh, like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Like, I need to make these connections still. Like, I need to blame it on something. Like, that person can't be, like, dead.
Yeah.
So, bringing it back to, like, the very first thing we
Yeah.
talked about.
Yeah. The grief, the feelings, the big feelings.
And I really feel like a lot of that is what this was, because sleep deprivation really does lead to, like, the most insane things. Like, that leads
100%.
to believing kind of anything. And also, just during this time, like, it was so hard to get information kind of anywhere. Like, what? They had to travel however far, just, like, they couldn't just shoot a text message.
Press didn't even
No,
exist at
exactly.
this
Like,
point.
everything was word of mouth. And so you hear Steven and Roger and whoever else, like, yeah, my
Mitchell.
dead wife and my Mitchell.
Yeah.
Bring back our names.
Yeah.
You hear all these people saying, like, no, like, he definitely saw his wife. Like, she was standing above him in bed. Like, you're gonna believe that at the time.
Yeah.
Because
And most people-
so many people were saying it.
And most people I don't think could really read at this point either,
No,
because since the printing
no.
press wasn't around, like, literacy
Only
rates
like
were
what
super
the
low.
super wealthy people.
Yeah,
had the
basically, and
ability
the
to
only
read.
ones that were only books that were really
The Holy
around
Bible.
is like like the Bible, which was written in Latin,
And that was
mostly.
like all hand printed.
Yeah.
yeah. And so most people, it would get read to them.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. But no, it was just like a giant game of telephone.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Literally.
Which like goes back to actually how he ended the lecture, is that he explained that vampires are basically just like based on the fear of death and the unknown, and the undead is an explanation for like their grief, the loss in their life, like the mass death. Like, there is an answer to the chaos that they are experiencing.
Which is such a sad take on it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
in my opinion.
But like also
Makes so much sense.
it makes so much sense. Again, social work major, like the feelings thing, that's my shtick.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. And it's like, oh, you think these people were like crazy and like they just didn't know any better, but thinking of it from like it was an emotional.
They lost a person.
Yeah.
Like, they're so emotionally distraught. Like, they need to blame it on something.
Yeah. And
Also, I will say I do think that they didn't know any better,
Well,
because
yeah.
from our point of view, or like in a way we can be like, oh, like why did they think they were coming out of the grave? But like we know so much more about science
Yes,
than they do. We
100%.
know what illnesses they had.
Yeah.
They didn't even know that.
We
Yeah.
know how a body decomposes nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't even know
They
that.
didn't.
no.
They also, I liked the point he brought up where he was like, they could have easily just like looked at the dead animals around them and watched how they decomposed, but why would a human do the same?
Yeah.
And I think we as humans, we try not to think of ourselves as like the same as the animal kingdom,
yeah.
and we're better than them. So why on earth would we decompose the same as them? I feel like that's a big thing also that they like.
Well, and I
know.
definitely think so,
No,
like,
for sure.
back then, too, because, like, evolution wasn't really a thing. So it's like, well, we're two different things,
Complete different
entities.
things. Yeah.
So why would it be the same?
And evolution is a whole other can of worms.
Oh, yeah.
And during
yeah.
during this time where they believe people came from, like biblically.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's doozy.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else? Closing remarks?
I will say, I said this yesterday too. Like, after going to the lecture, I left with more questions than I came with.
Yeah.
And so, again, there's just so many little, like, things that I wish he would have, like, dived a little deeper in, especially the very first topic that he talked about, the
Mhm.
different, like, entities and
Yes.
creatures. Would love an entire thing on that.
Maybe you can come back for an episode.
I
and
literally
go over
would.
it.
I'd pick, like, 7 different things to talk about.
Yeah.
We could each, like, talk about a different little creature.
I'd be
That
so
would
down
be
for
so
that.
fun.
That'd be so
I would be
good.
so down for that.
Mhm.
And we could say, like, what we think it was, like, based on. Like,
Oh,
That'd be so good.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
like what massive, like,
I'll just talk about consumption for an hour.
literally. Rabies.
Yeah.
It had rabies.
Rabies. Lots of rabies.
Blame everything on
Rabies, starvation,
that. Literally.
Consumption.
consumption.
People marrying their cousins.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for kind of tagging along with that we went way crazy
Yeah.
a little bit. Next week, we will go a little bit deeper into the Black Death. I know we talked about that last episode, but we'll go into the more scientific of it. But yeah, thanks for listening. Join us next time. Bye.
Thank you for joining us today. As always, all sources will be listed in the show notes below.
Be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out on our upcoming discussions. Join us next week as we delve into the intriguing depths of our grim past.
Stay curious, there's so much more to uncover.